moment to read from the gospel reading this morning and talk about a few things. In it, Matthew 12, 30 through 37, Christ says, "He who is not with me is against me, and he who does not gather with me scatters. Therefore I tell you, every sin and blasphemy will be forgiven men, but the blasphemy against the Spirit will not be forgiven. And whoever says a word against the Son of Man will be forgiven, but whoever speaks against the Holy Spirit will not be forgiven, either in this age or in the age to come." The passage continues, and I'll talk about it in a moment, but growing up in a Protestant context, there was no shortage of fear about this passage. There was a concern that blaspheming the Holy Spirit would be something that might have occurred accidentally. To shed some light on this, we can look at what the Blessed Augustine and St. John Chrysostom say. Now, Augustine is somewhat perplexed, but has a real confidence in the practices of the church. His kind of question is over the fact that, to him, any pagan or non-Christian at some point would have blasphemed the Holy Spirit prior to having become a Christian. But he knows that in baptism and in the entrance of the church, such people are forgiven. To help explain this and shed a little bit more light, John Chrysostom points to an aspect of specificity in the situation. The context here is that Christ has cast out demons, and the Pharisees have attributed what's clearly a good fruit to a bad tree. Namely, rather than attributing the work of Christ to the Holy Spirit, they've attributed it to Satan. And what John Chrysostom points out is that the difference between a pagan and the Pharisees in this case is that the Pharisees have a real knowledge of the Holy Spirit. They have a knowledge that should give them everything they need to know that this work of casting out the demon was done by the Holy Spirit, even if they were still at that time unsure who Christ was.